Closer here to home, people across northern Nevada were rattled over the weekend by an earthquake. It was felt early Saturday morning. It officially registered as a 4.8 magnitude earthquake, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It was centered between Winnemucca and Elko. It has been followed by several smaller aftershocks now. And joining us to talk more about these earthquakes, we have Dr. Christy Rowe. She's the director of the Nevada Seismological Laboratory at UNR. And I want to thank you, Dr. Rowe, for joining us. First, I'd like to talk about what happened in Afghanistan. We're seeing lots of devastation there. What can you tell us about that particular earthquake?
Yeah, well, like you said, it was a somewhat shallow earthquake, but as usual, this really big extent of damage and the casualties associated with the building collapses as a result of the type of construction in the area. And it's a good reminder for us because we have pretty good building codes that are followed in Nevada now, but we also have a lot of historic unreinforced masonry buildings. And we saw that in Wells in 2008, that there was pretty significant damage to some of the more historic structures, and that was an earthquake of similar magnitude.
So you think it's the construction of the building and the fact that it was so shallow for why we're seeing so much devastation there?
Yeah, that's right. It results in more intense shaking. And also this earthquake happened really close to Jalalabad. It's a pretty big city. I think it's the 5th largest city in the country. So obviously a lot of people felt pretty strong shaking in that case.
Yeah, it's really scary when you see the images coming out of there. And then here closer to home, we're talking about a series of earthquakes in northern Nevada. What can you tell us about what happened there?
That's right. So yeah, we had a 4.8 over the weekend. That particular site, which is near Midas, it's pretty remote. It's a pretty small population area, but they did have a similar sequence of earthquakes that occurred in March and April of this year, and the biggest earthquake in that sequence was a 4. So we're watching the activity there. I like to say that these are fun-size earthquakes. They're earthquakes that remind us we live in earthquake country, and we ought to be thinking about staying prepared for that all the time. But when they're this remote and about this size, then they normally don't cause any damage. So that's something that we can just use as a reminder.
Yeah, the fun size kind of feels like, you know, as one who's been through a couple of them when I lived in Oklahoma and Texas, they feel like you're kind of riding a wave, if you will. Do you expect a bigger one to hit?
There's always a little bit of an increased tendency for bigger ones after we've had a moderate earthquake like this. So, I mean, we're keeping an eye on it. I want to shout out to our staff who were in on the weekend. Yeah, also for your viewers, we have the Great Shakeout coming up on October 16th. It's recognized across the country. It's a chance for a lot of our municipalities and emergency responders to go through some preparation activities, and we can also do that at home. Your kids will probably do it in school. All the school districts will do an earthquake drill. So it's something that, yeah, just a chance to be aware, to update your supplies and make sure that you are earthquake ready.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of that now. I mean, what should people do in case they're in an earthquake?
Right. Well, immediately when you feel the shaking, it's drop, cover, and hold. When I was in school, they used to tell us to get in a doorway. Turns out that's not the best idea. You really want to be under a table that'll protect you from falling objects. And then keep an eye out for unreinforced masonry, because we do see bricks and stones and things falling off buildings. But then thereafter, in the aftermath, people may need to shelter in place. If there's a big earthquake, our supply chains will be interrupted from the big ports in California. So it's good to have some food, water supplies on hand, and get your first aid training up to date.
Yeah, important information. And you mentioned the Great Shakeout. When is that taking place?
October 16th at 10:16 a.m.
All right, it'll be here before you know it. Thank you so much, Dr. Rowe, for joining us.